Today we're going to be looking at some of TikTok's finest landlords. If you're already subscribed, oh my god, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, this is my channel, welcome. I post kind of like, basically I'm always just yelling about like leftist stuff, but I don't always want to make like sad, soul-sucking video essays about capitalism and greed and society. So I'm trying to strike a middle ground where I can add some comedy commentary, because that is way more fun for me. However, all of the cringe and frustration has to be directed somewhere. It has to be all that hatred has to go towards someone. So I'd rather it be towards members of the owning class, right? Rather than just ignorant strangers online. Before I get into reacting to some of the landlords of TikTok, let me just say this. Yes, fuck all landlords. There's no condition on that, okay? I know that they're not all slumlords. I know that some of them are super sweet people. They're good people. They seem like regular people. They just happen to own this one extra property and they rent it out, blah, 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 blah. We'll get into it. But I'm morally opposed to land ownership in general. So it's even worse when somebody buys twice the land they need and then rents half of it at a profit, right? Second of all, no, I do not have any solutions to the problem, okay? I'm not an ideological purist. It's just that, in my opinion, landlords have outlived their usefulness, if there ever was any. So, my only solution is to make fun of them. So let's go. If I were them, I would simply live my life, profit off the basic human needs of others, never contribute anything to society, and do it all while staying off the internet. But these very special TikTok landlords decided that they needed to post about their lifestyle on the Clock app for communist children. So that was their fault, really, if you think about it. So I searched TikTok and I had to weed through horror stories from people that have terrible landlords, or they were venting about their landlord, or they're being evicted, or their neighbors are being evicted, or their apartment regularly floods and the landlord does nothing about it. Horror stories. But I was able to finally come across some with hashtags like real estate TikTok and landlord talk. And these are the ones that the landlords themselves use. Now, I must warn you, we are going to start at the bottom, and they are going to get cringier and more offensive as the video goes on. So stick around. Okay, so our first guy, he's just some poor dude. He's just a regular jack-off like you and me, and he's here to tell you his sob story. So let's hear it. I'm gonna play the whole thing, then we'll discuss.
I'd never heard the argument that landlords are immoral people until I got to TikTok. I'm a landlord, and so here's my story. There's a house that's been in my family for a few generations, and when my mother had it, she didn't take care of it, let the thing rot for over 10 years, never paid taxes on it. Once in my name, I paid all the back taxes, spent $50,000 emptying my bank account to renovate the house, and also got a $50,000 loan on top of that to finish renovations. We met a woman who had been recently divorced, had several kids, and needed to start over in her life. She had no savings at all for a down payment on a home. So she became our tenant, and most of her rental check every month went to paying back down the renovation loan, paying for taxes, insurance, and maintenance. We're not getting rich here. Recently, she saved up enough money to build a new home for her and her family and just moved out, and we're super thrilled for her.
So this one's definitely not the cringiest. It gets way worse. I don't think this guy lives a lavish lifestyle. He probably has just been conditioned, like most of us, to think that this cycle of home ownership and generational wealth is normal. But he starts out by saying that he's never heard the notion that landlords are immoral people. The first thing this tells me is that he's never rented a day in his life. And it already denotes a certain amount of privilege that this person has. If it's never crossed his mind that a landlord might be doing something immoral, he probably has never rented. Also, like, entire wars have been fought over like landlordism or landlordship or whatever you call it, and feudalism and things. So I'm a little disappointed that the morality of his lifestyle has never once trickled through his brain. He also probably doesn't listen to the Dead Kennedys, which, honestly, bad trait. He goes on to say that this home has been in his family for generations, and his mother let it rot. So I'm assuming she wasn't living in it. So already I'm wondering, like, if this family just let this house sit empty. Like, had they sold it, maybe someone else would have lived there, someone else would have kept it up, someone else would have paid those taxes, right? Again, like, you're hoarding the houses and they're sitting empty. Also, this whole, like, not, your mom didn't pay the taxes on it. Cool. Okay. You're kind of proving my point here, you know what I mean? So anyways, he says he inherited the house, he paid the back taxes, he renovated, he had to take out a loan to finish renovating. Now, this is the part that these people don't get. That is not his tenant's fault. That was his mom's fault, right? That had nothing to do with the fact that he's a landlord. It's your house, it's your responsibility. He's lumping it in with being a landlord, like, oh, this isn't some walk in the park. Most people who inherit a home do not get to keep it. Either they can't afford to keep paying the mortgage on it, or a lot of times there's more than one sibling and they all want their share, but they have to sell it and liquidate it if they want to get the money out of the house. A lot of people don't even have the privilege to keep the home in their family. Do you really think if I inherited my family home, I would get on TikTok and complain about it? So then there's this sob story about how this divorcee with children moves in. Like, you know, she didn't inherit her family home, so she has to rent. Also probably would have been really hard for her as a single mom to be approved for a home loan. So there's that. So here comes a landlord to benefit from her awful situation, right? So now he has this poor woman living there, paying him every month, and he acts like he's giving her a deal. Like, that's his perspective on this, is that he's giving her a frickin' deal. He says most of her rent went to paying back the renovation and back taxes. So in other words, this poor woman is helping this dude pay back the fact that his mom neglected the house and didn't pay her taxes. And then he's framing it like it's a sob story. Like, what? So then he goes on to say, oh, and he said it also paid for insurance and maintenance. Wow, how noble. A landlord paying for insurance and maintenance on the house that they've inherited?
What, you want a cookie?
I'm not gonna get mad. Notice that he did not say that he uses her rent to pay the mortgage. Why? Because this house has been in their family for generations. There is no mortgage. It's paid off, baby. There's no mortgage. It's a free fucking house. And he's here complaining about it to children on TikTok who told him he's like, you know, they're gonna like guillotine him or something. I don't know. Then he has the audacity to say, we aren't getting rich here. That's because you were already wealthy, okay? First of all, you inherited the house and you were able to keep it. Second of all, after paying the taxes and paying $50,000 that you had to renovate it, the bank gave you a $50,000 loan. Do you think if I went down to the bank right now, they would give me a fucking $5 loan? No, they would not, because I'm poor. So yes, you are getting rich off of this, not to mention the fact that she just helped you pay off that loan, that renovation, and when you eventually die or sell it or something, that equity for that home that you just renovated stays in your family. You get to keep that forever. Next up, we have a very different type of landlord. I am dialing up the cringe a little bit on this one. It's really hard to watch, so.
How in the world do you afford rent? I never see you working.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I own the property, so I pay the $900 mortgage.
Wait, you're my landlord? Yeah, it's called house hacking. I make $1,900 off y'all paying rent each month, and so that means I have an extra $1,000 to use on expenses for the home, as well as extra money for me. So I'm paying you to live here for free.
That's right, and then eventually I'll sell the place and make a big profit.
Yeah. Okay, so let's break it down. It's so funny to me because the first thing she does is she admits that landlords don't work. Her roommate, she goes, I never see you working. You never do any work.
Oh my God, he admitted it.
Then she goes on to say, oh, I only pay $900 for this property and I'm collecting rent from roommates. So then it ends with, I'm paying you to live here for free? Now you have to understand that this little video is meant to teach other people how to house hack, how to do the same thing. So let's just do the math. It seems like there's 3 people living in this apartment. The landlord and then 2 roommates. The 2 roommates must pay $950 each. The landlord pays $0. That's $1,900 minus the $900 she said. She says she has $1,000 to live off of, okay? So she's charging them each $950 when the mortgage is $900. So instead of all 3 of them paying $300 a month, which is insanely reasonable. Most 18-year-olds I know could pay $300 for rent, right? Like almost anyone could afford $300 rent. Instead, she's charging them each $950 each. So she has more than tripled the price of rent so that she can contribute nothing, add no value, and gain everything. Do you see how teaching this to others and perpetuating this house hacking thing might, I don't know, drive up the prices of rent everywhere? Like, it makes life unlivable for working class tenants when you do this, when everyone does this. It makes the goal of home ownership impossible for other people. Like, and then she says, eventually I'll sell the place and make a big profit. So yeah, after all that time there living for free, she will sell the apartment, to which she added no value, and thanks to the rising rental prices in her area, the apartment building will appraise for more than it did 10 years ago, because she jacked up the price of rent and created like this whole ecosystem, and then she makes money out of the transaction. She'll make more money off of this than I have in my entire life combined. So, I swear, it's legal money laundering. That's what real estate and being a landlord is. And it gets worse. Okay, so the next guy is someone who really doesn't understand the hate for landlords.
I just saw this video today and this person said that landlords are leeches.
Ooh, that's good. I should write that down.
I really want to talk about this. Do you think landlords are leeches?
Yes.
Well, let's not forget, a person has to work many, many years to buy that multifamily property or any property that they rent out for passive income. So that's number one. That person works many, many years to be able to buy that property.
First of all, that's not always true. A lot of landlords inherit properties. But sure, maybe you started from nothing and you ended up doing this whole house hacking thing. Sure, you worked. So then why don't you feel bad for your tenants who have to work just to pay you so that you can make a passive income? If work is a sob story, then why doesn't it go both ways?
All right, number two, we have expenses. We have property taxes, we have maintenance, we have vacancies, we have all these things. So if you think that you can actually buy a property and let people live in it for free, it's your choice. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna buy a property and let someone live in it for free and I'm paying the property taxes. And if you want me to renovate your apartment for you, you're not paying me any money, what's the point?
I'm not sure who is advising this man to rent his apartments for free, but perhaps he doesn't realize that if 0 people were making money off of housing, all housing would be much cheaper. For example, if there was a multifamily like apartment building with like 4 units in it, and all the properties were owned individually by the people living in each one, no one would be making a profit off of it. They would just be working their jobs, paying their property taxes, and paying their mortgage. But since the landlord has to earn a profit off of every unit, not just for insurance and maintenance, but also for themselves, for the passive income he just mentioned a minute ago, every single tenant's cost of living just got way higher. Like, it's like he's choosing to not understand that, even though he said it.
This kitchen is not free. If someone breaks this handle, I have to repair it. If something happens to anything in this kitchen, I have to repair it. So if you think that a landlord is a leech, then you're very ignorant. You have to learn more about real estate.
Ooh, we're ignorant. If you think your landlord is a leech, you have never been more right about anything. He has the gall to say that if a kitchen cabinet handle breaks, he has to repair it. Well, yeah, I'd hope so, since you decided to own a property and rent it out to other people. You are literally leeching passive income from me getting my basic human needs of living indoors. The funniest part about this is that on this video, here I'll show you the screenshot, he uses the hashtags #wealth, #buildwealth, #money talk. You are hoarding wealth, and when you do that, you greaten the disparity between the rich and the poor. Cringe is about to go way up. Think of this as like a little chaser for that last video, okay? You saw a man defending his passive income grift. Now let's watch the exact opposite.
How did I spend this much money today? I don't know, but what I spent in a day, here we go. $620 to replace a dryer in one of my units. I got lunch, smoothie, and a salad for $20. And then I wanted to buy a bathing suit. I found this one for $50 at PacSun, and I went to GNC and got a couple of things for $61. Then I went grocery shopping and I got mostly snacks. It ended up being $91. I really wanted to go to this surf shop where I found the absolutely most amazing bikini that I fell in love with and I had to get also, which was $192. And that was it that I spent for today. It was a lot. I don't know how, but follow for more.
So it says total $1,034. Being a landlord adds a lot daily. So that's why today added up so fast. So yeah, that is how landlords are spending their money. I'm sorry. That's how landlords are spending your money. The pipes are going full blast. I can't do anything about it. I live in hell.
It's a full-time job, and it's extremely time-consuming, and it's not as easy as it may appear to some people.
No comment on that. No comment on her smug little... There's one more account that I'm going to show you. Probably gonna get really mad, so before I do, comment down below if you want more videos like this where I basically do cringe commentary, but mix in some material analysis and shit, because every time I go make fun of like random like influencers and MLM hunts, I just feel kind of bad because these people are just trying to survive in a system which we all participate in. But these people, these landlords, these proud bootlickers, I have no problem clowning on them. I really don't. So let me know. I'm thinking the series could be called Owned. Get it? Because it's like I'm owning the owning class. Okay, if you think that's a good idea. So here's our last girl. You might have seen this on Twitter. Tat Landano. I had to look it up. Her name's Tatiana. Here's a video. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because she puts music in her videos. So hopefully I don't get copyrighted, but let's go.
I bought this eightplex for $950,000. I put $200,000 down and got a mortgage for $750,000. My payment every single month on that mortgage is $3,600. But wait till you see what I did next. There were 2 empty units in the property, so I renovated them and increased the value of the building. I could charge a higher rent because now the units are beautiful. I renovated the kitchen, I replaced the floors and painted the walls. I redid the bathrooms and included fantastic appliances. I rented the empty units, I went back to the bank and refinanced the property for $1,250,000, giving me a new mortgage of $1 million, and I cashed out $240,000 of equity.
Okay, it's easy. You buy the eightplex and then you add value by painting it. Then it's more. So you go back to the bank, get $240,000 cash tax-free. What this woman just described is some fucked up money laundering. I swear to God. Where is the value coming from? Where is that added value? What, a $2,000 washing machine set? She put tile in the shower? What the fuck is she talking about? Why is that now worth $240,000 more dollars? Okay. All right. It's okay. Let's see what else Tatiana has to say. She uses the It's Always Sunny music, so I might have to like filter the sound on these. I'm gonna see what I can do about this. But anyways, also she looks like evil Kristen Wiig. It's like an evil character she would do on SNL, like the Californians or something, or the character she plays in Last Man on Earth because she's like super wealthy. Let me get my cringe ready.
I bought this beautiful duplex for $650,000. It's a beautiful duplex with 2 separate entrances located in a very trendy neighborhood. Oh, this unit right over here for $2,500. The seller left the upstairs unit, which gave me an empty apartment. And put it up for rent on Airbnb. I put in beds. I rent this beautiful 3-bedroom apartment for an average of $250 a night in the winter and over $300 a night in the summer. It's a no-brainer. The rent downstairs gets me $2,500 and this apartment gets me $5,000 on average every single month. So that leaves me with a profit of $4,000 in my pocket every single month. Have you tried Airbnb lately, folks?
Oh my god. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad. There's a lot I could say that I don't think I need to say, but I just want to point this out. Her Airbnb is netting her $5,000 a month, and her rental is, whatever, $2,500 a month. When that rental becomes vacant, do you think that she is going to, A, raise the rent, or B, use that one to also be an Airbnb apartment? Once that other apartment is vacant, what is stopping her from putting a couple IKEA beds in there and making $5,000 a month off of that unit too? And she's saying you should do this Airbnb thing. But like, what do you think that this will do to that neighborhood? What will happen to the city with one less place for a family to live? Like, it really starts to add up when this becomes a trend. This whole house flipping, Airbnb, being a landlord thing becomes more and more popular. All right, we have one more from Tatiana.
This is how I buy properties way under market value. First thing, I go to my city's registry office online. Then I search all the properties that have reached their deadline for unpaid taxes. I then choose a property and pay off their unpaid taxes. If the property owner is unable to pay me back on time, then I become the new owner of the property. And you know what the best part is? I get these properties way under market value because all I have to do is take on their mortgage and pay the taxes. Big disclaimer, I only use this strategy for vacant properties because I do not think it's ethical to throw someone out of their home. For more real estate facts and tips, follow me on TikTok and Instagram.
You don't think it's ethical to throw someone out of their home? You're a landlord and you're buying up properties everywhere. She goes online to see which people are struggling the most. Takes over their mortgage. Doesn't even buy the house. Takes over their mortgage. But she doesn't do it for vacant properties because that would just be taking advantage of people who have it really, really bad right now. That would be terrible. Okay. That is just, I need a palate cleanser after that one. I need something to make me feel better.
We bought this beautiful 6-family for $161,000.
Real quick, I just want to say, I love this guy's earpiece. Sick. Okay, so they bought this house for $161,000. Doesn't look like it's kept up that nice. It's actually a lot of paint peeling. It looks kind of shitty. A lot of like, you can see the wood is rotting behind him.
Each unit is rented for $1,450.
Looks like shit.
The revenue the property brings in is $8,700 a month. Hot water is included and there's some common electricity, so the expenses are about $860 a month. Our mortgage, taxes, and insurance payment is about $2,000 a month. Our cash flow from the property is $5,840 a month. But wait, it gets better. And we bought this back in 2011. And in today's market, it's worth $750,000. I bet you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to the bank and refinance and pull out $400,000 tax-free. And with the low interest rates that currently are, we're still gonna cash flow. So you should follow us and learn how you can do this too.
What? Why would the house in 10 years, from 2011 to 2021, why would the house go from $161,000 to $750,000 in value? Why in 10 years? That house looks like it's 200 fucking years old. Do you think that the value has ever grown that much in any of its other 10 years? I know, maybe it's because you bought it in 2011. Your mortgage on the whole thing with taxes was $2,000 a month. But you artificially drove up the prices by 300% so that you could make a profit off the building. Maybe that's why the value went up. Maybe the value of the building actually went down because you look like you do a shitty fucking job of taking care of your building. That building looks like shit. And you look like the kind of guy who, if you were my landlord and something broke, I wouldn't even fucking call you because it wouldn't be worth looking at your dumb fucking Bluetooth headset. Okay? I gotta put something funny on. I gotta put something funnier on.
Is that bitch fucking crying again? Yeah, I think so. Hey, could you shut the fuck up?
Okay, I feel a little better. Before I go, I just want to say, being a landlord is not a job. You do not add any value to anything except your own fucking bank account. And do you know that when you add value to your bank account, you are taking it from somewhere? It doesn't just magically appear tax-free after your refinance. You took that value from working class people that live in your fucking buildings and now will never be able to afford a unit of their own, a house of their own, because prices everywhere, not just in San Francisco and London and New York, everywhere have gone up because of this little grift. Land ownership and rent, both of those things, being a landlord, owning a house, any of that, it disproportionately affects people of color, queer people, single parents, convicted criminals, and young people who are just starting out in life. And please remember that the police exist to protect the property of landlords, the property of homeowners. They suck too. The police suck too. So, if you find any cringe content from cops, landlords, rich people, business owners, wealth influencers, the kind of people who launder money through the art world, that's gotta be a grift, any of that, please send me the link or their username and tell me, where I can find them. And maybe I'll make this into a fun little series. So fun. This is so fun, guys. Okay, I really do want to end this on a lighter note because I'm not mad. So here's this.
As a landlord, I provide a really important service to my tenants. They get housing. So that's why, guys, it's a real job.
Okay, I actually really like this guy's content. Here's a little song he sang. We'll do this as our outro.
But without the landlords, who will pay the mortgage? Your landlord does not pay the mortgage. Your rent checks pay for the mortgage. That means you're the one who pays the mortgage. The landlord gets